Okay, great. So we're recording now. As we've shared before, we'll plan to make the recording public. If anything gets said that shouldn't be public, let me know so I can stop the recording right away and start another one. And if we don't stop the recording, we'll just plan to make it public. Sound good?
Okay.
Awesome. Yay. Yeah, I'm very interested to tune in. I've been processing our last conversation and thinking about, the things I want to connect with you about today. And it's very much today about me getting a context for, what you're up to, both with, your existing song and what you want to do with your existing song, but with how that fits into the bigger picture too, right? And, we'll kind of get back to the context of it all, but I want to understand how I can support you best in this very moment, with what you want to do with your song. And then also, like, again, what that looks like in the big term. I'm committed, as you can tell, and we'll talk about which videos you got to watch. I'm committed to people embodying their fullest divine potential in this lifetime, right? So I know you from, like I shared with you, all the videos I've watched of you from over the years. Again, it really struck me the level of, detail and artistry that you brought to the whole experience in your presentation at the Miami Beach climate conference, back in 2015.
Yeah.
And so to know you as that, and I know that that's just like a little slice of your whole, history and all the songs and videos that I've watched. You bring all of this with you, right? Your whole, like, all that you've done and all that you've built, all bricks in the wall of the beautiful castle that you're building, right? And so again, I want to give you a chance to, acknowledge that, embrace that, share, all these parts of your history and how they lead you, to this moment and give you, the power, the mountaintop that you've built from on which to stand on top of, right? And to share with the world that doesn't know you yet, all of that. So they know who you are showing up in this moment with this song. You get what I'm saying?
I think so.
I want to tune in, and make sure that, to clearly communicate, to drill it all down. You're not just a guy showing up with a song, asking people to be, to share the song. Okay, that could be what you are in some people's eyes if that's all they know about you, and that's all that a lot of people will know about you, unless the song is shared within the context of a greater story that you are telling at the same time. That story having included all of your history and everything that you've done already. That should not be absent in this moment. You get what I'm saying? All of that is to be present to give you the power, from which to launch whatever you're launching at this moment from. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It
should stand on its own. This statement, this video, bridge our American divide, a 78-second positive musical, has to stand on its own, as each of my projects I want to do, to have happen. So yeah, I mean, it's well, not that yeah.
I appreciate that you're saying that, because that's like almost opposite of what I was just saying, which is really important for me to know that that's how you feel, which is important, I think, as an aspiration. And I think that's important for you. I think it has more viral ability when it does. I just want to go back to what I heard you describe, sharing with me in our last meeting, which was, having a corporate CEO decide they want to share it with their,
Right.
all of their employees.
Right.
That's where I want to dive in and understand, are you actually going to be pitching the corporate CEOs? Are you going to be creating a presentation package? Are you going to be sharing with them why, you get what I'm saying? Like that is typically the channels through which something like that would be accomplished. And I want to understand, what you're actually deciding that you're going to be wrapping your arms around and spending your days on, and which parts you're just like letting the universe, handle. So
Well,
that's
well, we're forming a coalition um, uh, with an organization called We the World, which is a lot of people, and um, we're collecting. Our goal is to collect statements of support from other organizations that they from their CEOs and begin that way. Now, my friend Rick, who's the head of We the World, had heart surgery. So he's kind of getting better, and at the moment out of the picture. But I'm letting go enough to know that we've got 4 months into the election. But even after the election, there's there's healing that has to happen, obviously, and realization that we can still come together. There are other organizations like Braver Angels and that are involved in spreading the word, and that's an organization that brings the left and right together. And
what's the name of that organization?
Braver Angels,
Braver Angels.
yeah, and they're part of a whole other chain of organizations that do that kind of work, and so uh, I hope I mean, I want to spread it to them as well, and let them share it them with their constituents as well. So,
So yeah, I'm glad you're sharing these are the exact examples that I want to like understand of like what your expectations are, what your objectives are, what your expectations are, how you're executing on those, and what you're already doing and what you're looking for support with. And you're starting to, help me see a lot more of the specifics of what you've been working on. And then we can get into like the numbers and where you're at with them and what other support you need and those sorts of things. That's, how I feel like I can best support you in this moment, is helping you map out your whole vision so that other people can be privy to it and can support you in whatever aspects they can support you in, right? This is where you're getting to broadcast, your vision to the world. And now not only do you have your own internal network that can show up and support you in achieving that, but you're broadcasting to the broader collective to be able to, show up and support you wherever they are inspired and or incentivized to do so. You got that?
well, yeah, well, originally the thought was that individuals would pass this along uh, to other people, um, and it would be networked out that way. Now that's happened some, not enough. I mean, it's only been you know a week, so
Yeah,
that's nothing.
that was my next question, is when, Braver Angels or We the World or some other network that you consider a target type of network, when they are sent, have a campaign in place, or whether you have to create a campaign with them, or what's the logistics around that for you?
We're discussing that. Of course, Rick's a partner in this, um, uh, and he's out of pocket at the moment. So it's kind of I'm doing what I can, and we'll plan a campaign. I mean, it's going to be letters of support for this project from other CEOs that they'll commit to sending it out to their people. So
That's great.
that's
As you're saying that, do you mind if I start doing a mind map for us?
no.
I'm just typing some
But by
notes
the
about
way,
what.
I watched some of the videos, and there was a page uh, that didn't work at all. I mean, there was nothing coming up when I pushed the camera button or the
When you
uh,
push the camera button. Oh, oh,
I think it was under empowerment.
okay. We'll take a look at that while we're going up. Thank you for mentioning that. That's really great. I
Yeah.
thought I had checked everything recently, but let me double check that. Okay, so let me start the mind map. Oh, I'm going to pause while I'm pulling it up. Okay, great. So now let me share my screen. Okay, so
Oh,
have you created a mind map around your enterprise before?
no,
Okay, great.
I mean, I
So,
write things, you know,
right.
I create and make lists of things to do, but I've never done a mind map.
Okay, great. Um, so I'm just going to start with you at the center, and we're going to focus for the moment on this one branch of the tree, this project that you're working on right now. So, what do you want to call this project?
Uh, uh, br- Bridge the American divide. Is that too many words?
No, that's fine. You said what, the American Divide?
Bridge.
Oh, bridge. Okay. Okay, great. So now I'm just going to, I think there's some levels in between here, but I'm just going to put this here because this is what you just said. You mentioned um, gather letters of support from CEOs.
Mhm.
And okay, we can leave it at that. And then once you receive their letter of support, they're pledging to their what are they pledging to, or what are they agreeing to with the letter of support?
Sending it to their people.
Sending it to their okay, sending it to their employees or
Uh,
sending it to
or
their
yeah,
clients.
to their employees.
Okay, and what about to their database of clients, customers, followers?
We haven't determined that yet. That's what we'd like.
Okay, well, let's put it out there as something that could happen, even if you're not focusing attention on it right now. How's that?
Uh, okay.
Because these are your choices, right? Of options when you're going down this road.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you say CEOs, are you in your mind thinking about like corporate CEOs, or are you also
Yeah.
thinking about, yeah, are you
Yeah.
also thinking about like heads of nonprofit organizations and that sort of
Yes.
thing?
That's where we're going to start. It's a not for profits.
So is it, well, it's, we'll just say for uniformity's sake that you're gathering some uh, letter of support from the nonprofits as well, even if the type of support you're looking for may be different, but it's, you essentially want these same sort of things, right? That they're going to send it to their employees or they're going to send
Right,
it to their followers.
right,
It sounds like in this case, maybe it's more of like you're looking from the nonprofits, you're looking for them to send it to their followers,
right.
to their subscribers, right?
Hmm.
Maybe more than the employees. But those are different options. And what we're looking at here is we're looking at basically like your prospect, your different types of prospects, right?
Hmm.
So we're really talking about um, uh, let's say I'm going to just for the moment say prospects, and then we'll say um, corporations, nonprofits,
Hmm.
and maybe like Facebook groups as another
Yeah,
prospect group, right?
yeah.
Um,
Churches, houses of worship.
any other groups that you can think of?
Well, uh, politicians or political organizations.
How about media? You'd like the media to pay attention to it, right?
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
Well, maybe that could be first.
I want to get this organization set up before I hit the media.
Okay. And when you say that, tell me what that looks like, the organization set up. What does that look like?
Well, the letters of support obviously would be real important, um, uh, so that we can have a list of leaders that are who believe in this message.
Okay, great. And
So
so,
I can talk about all the people supporting this and not just, oh, this is me, this is coming from me.
that's great. So do you have a target as to like the number of letters you'd want to have before you go to the media, or the different types of like prominence of some of the people, even if it's not numbers, you have certain prominent people that are supporting? What is your conditionality look like before you're ready to go to the media?
Well, at least 10 organizations that are supporting it, and then um, um, with followers. I mean, they got large groups of followers. And then what was the question?
The conditionality to go to the media. So you said at least 10 different groups that have a number of followers.
Right, and their own media lists that they could reach out to. Mhm.
Okay, good. So that's really good. And now let me add some of the specific ones that you were mentioning. So you've got We the World. That's
Mhm.
under, is that a nonprofit?
Yeah.
And then what was the other one that you mentioned that unites the left
Braver
and the right?
Angels. Yeah, Braver Angels.
And is that a nonprofit also?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And there other specific prospects that you're already targeting or you're thinking to target that you want to mention now?
Well, We the World has, plenty of a whole list of CEOs, so we're working on that. It's just that Rick's out of pocket at the moment.
Okay.
And I'm approaching some churches to see how they feel about it and if they can create a from the pulpit a lesson that teaches what Jesus would have taught about this about coming together.
Yeah, I really like that idea. Really, you only need one um, dynamic preacher that's willing to integrate, the
Mm-hmm.
message with the song, and then you could
Right.
publish, a really special kind of video integrating the song and the message and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you been getting any kind of feedback from any leaders that are saying, maybe I'll do that, or have you
Well,
not gotten that far with them?
I'm just reaching out. In fact, I'm trying to set up a meeting with the ministers at the couple of churches that I attend. But July 4th is in the way, so
So I'm gonna just throw this out there because I want you to kind of get a sense early on, of where I'm at with things and how I want to support you, in terms of where you're at with things.
mhm.
Is, I don't what's the ones that you've reached out to, are they local to you or what had you choose
Yeah,
them?
yeah, they're local. They're just
Okay.
and people that I respect. And so yeah, I wanted to get go to them first and then, reach out to other places, such as the Reformed and the conservative Jewish movements, and the Catholic Church, the Methodists, um, folks like that with big followings.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm totally starting to get a clearer picture of your intentions with this. So, are you imagining taking on most of the communication with most of those entities on your own, or are you imagining receiving support from others to be kind of reaching out to all of those different institutions and following up with them and having conversations with them and all of
I
that?
I think I do the best representing the project, so I'll probably reach out at first on my own, and then once I establish communication and a positive feedback, then I can have others also do the reaching out.
do you have a sense of, like, have you created like a prospect list of who you want to reach out to, and then thought about, like, are you going to create any kind of, like, you know, like introductory letter or package, or like how are you going to introduce yourself to these, you know, big institutions in a way to have the conversation with them that you're thinking of having? Have you gotten that far into like drafting
No.
anything or thinking about it?
No, I haven't gone that far.
Yeah, what I'm doing with you, as you can tell, is I'm really drilling down to the details of what you want to accomplish and start to
Mhm.
add the numbers, to start to add the tasks, to start to add the hours, to start to divide it up amongst, the hours that you have in a day, to let you see what it is like you can actually do in some certain amount of time based on,
Mhm.
the objectives that you're setting. So not that it can't be done, it's just like, I didn't get the impression like you're working your ass off 24 hours a day to get
No,
to get
no,
to get
I'm
to get
not.
right, right. You've got a certain number of hours in the day that you're carving out for doing, working on your project, and whatever you're going to accomplish has to occur, within your, general allocation of your time and your energy. So I'm doing my best to tune in to where your aspirations and ambitions are, and
Mhm.
understand what the limitations of your resources in terms of your time, hiring people, whatever it is that whatever the constraints are that we have to work within. how
Right.
can we how can we possibly engineer a solution to achieve your objectives within, the limitations of the resources you have at your disposal? Probably the most limiting one being your time, right?
Well, the first thing I want to do is get with a web guy who I met with, who does web marketing, and link can set up the infrastructure for doing the social media, because that's necessary, because I need to be up on it's a lot of the social media, um, for it to really have um, legs. I've gotten incredibly positive responses on this thing. So it's now it's a matter of getting it out there, in the bottom line, which is the social media line, and see what that brings, and then I could use that as a jumping off point for, along with the letters, for the corporate outreach. I don't want to bury them with a lot of the corporations. I want to send it, reach out to the public relations offices, like at Publix or HEB, and ask them what they think, and if this is something that they could reach out to their president to approve, their presidents to approve it being, because it's not partisan. Um, uh, and everybody's dealing with these issues, of the politicization of,
Politicization.
yeah, of, of of coming together, and realizing that we can build a better way, if they just reach out. I mean, if they're willing to send it out to their employees.
I
And
I I hear what you're saying with that, and I think it would be amazing. And I hope that you have some corporations that are willing to do that. to me, from what I see of what you've created and what I think your intentions are, you want it to have the widest visibility possible. You want it to go viral on social media, basically, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Which to me is fairly independent than the whole like pitch CEOs to have it,
yes,
go out to their employees. And my recommendation to you in this moment would be to first, like you're saying, focus your energy on what you can get going out in the public and find a model for virality. Because if you can get one, if the video in and of itself has inherent virality inside of it, like all people have to do is have it to share it, then as soon as anybody shares it, it will start going viral, right? So then it's just a matter, if it's not doing that, then what else needs to be wrapped around it, and what other part of the story needs to be told that isn't told inside of the 3 minutes of the video. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, what needs to be in the description of why people should share this? Hey, share this because it's going to blah, 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 adding some context for why people should share it. Do you get what I'm saying?
hmm, yeah,
And it's that message. If the video itself doesn't have the message inside of it, then it's the wrapping message. And you're probably going to have to try a number of different wrapping messages on a number of different platforms to find
right,
which ones are going viral, basically. And
right,
and different people will have different messages, different wrapping messages. And that's where you want to have all of these different organizations kind of wrapping it in their own message to their own audience to get their audience activated around this.
right.
Do you get what I'm saying? So with the process I'm describing to you right now is obviously a whole different way to be spending your time and your energy than in interacting with CEOs and sending messages to the PR. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. I'm just working on having a conversation with you at a higher level of strategy to understand your objectives and to ensure that you're spending your time and your resources and your energy most effectively and most efficiently to accomplish the result that you want, right?
Hmm.
And again, I, I'm not going to go down that road any further for the moment, because I want to kind of leave that as an open question for you to kind of figure out the balance between the broader social media virality and how you're going to do that versus how do I get it shared within this silo of network that I'm working on connecting with.
Hmm.
And a corporate network may not be a very different network to try to reach than a nonprofit network, but the
Right.
messaging is going to be different in how you're going to encourage them, and the message you're going to have for the PR department and that sort of thing. What's in it
Hmm.
for them? Why do they want to do this? You know, how are they going to have a better impression by their employees? How are the employees going to appreciate them anymore? What are the lists of wins? What's
Hmm.
the list of, like, because your employees are going to appreciate you more because this, because that, because that, this is why you do it, right? And by the way, I want to put that down here, by the way. Do you have like a list of benefits that you've been, assembling to share with different entities about, why they would want to share it?
No, because I'm just a week into the marketing thing, and focus on just moving it out there to get a taste of if it's what kind of positive legs it's got. So that's what I've been working on, and um,
Are you finding this process, how I'm mapping things out like this, beneficial? Does this help you see
oh
everything
yeah,
and
yeah,
and be
absolutely.
be able to communicate, effectively to others about what you're looking to do and where they fit into this whole, thing as we keep
Mhm.
growing this out. That's great. Okay, so I want to get back to what you're doing around the social media with the social media person you connected with. Are one, I imagine as a baseline, you're establishing accounts on platforms that you don't already have a presence on. I think TikTok was one that you said you didn't have an account on yet, right?
No, I've got an account, but
Oh, you've
I
got a
want to
TikTok.
I want to make it so that it's more anonymous. It's you know as a setup, and I want to talk to the web person about and do what we're doing, scope out a plan to of what we think could make it go viral.
And so is the nature of what you guys are discussing basically like how often you're going to be posting on each platform and what you're going to be posting each time, that sort of thing? Are you
Well,
gonna be
I haven't talked to him in a while, so I have to to get with him. Um, uh, it's it, I prefer to have the control of being able to post it when I feel like it needs to be posted, and all I need for him to do is to set up the being able to control things in a central location. And
okay, great. You mentioned that aspect, and I didn't know if you knew about these different tools yet. So I just went and looked this up just to show you as a starting point. So are you familiar with Hootsuite?
I've heard of it.
So Hootsuite is like, the one
Hoot
that's been
Hoot
around
H O
forever,
O
and
T.
HOOT suite, SUITE.com. I'm going to pull up the
Okay.
website really quickly. Um, so it's kind of like, to be honest with you, I don't know where it stands competitively these days against its other um, competitors, but that's why I brought up these. Are you seeing my screen right now, by the way, or no?
No.
Why not? No. Okay, let me share it. Okay. So this is Hootsuite. And so again, Hootsuite for many years, I mean, this goes way back. They were like the leader in managing all of your social media, like from within
Mhm.
their app, and then you could publish to all of your different platforms and all of that sort of thing. I went ahead and looked at a search for like alternatives to Hootsuite, so you can get an idea of
Mhm.
what else is out there. And this is the best resource that I found, this Sprout 24. So here's all these other ones that break it down, by
Hmm.
features and functions. So again, it sounds like they would be setting up either Hootsuite or one of these other platforms for you. And I didn't know that you had already chosen somebody for that, but this is essentially your list of options to go down the road of what you're describing in terms of having a central app that's helping you manage all of your social media.
Right.
And it sounds like you're saying, like, if you want to have control, then you're the one that's going to be using one of these apps, and they're going to be choosing the app, helping train you on the app, whatever you're imagining they're going to do to set you up, and then you'll be using one of these apps to do what you want to do. um, and then it's I mean, I guess you'll see when you get there in terms of seeing like what your first responses are. But obviously, there's a whole world out there about how you use social media to create results, to build a brand, to build
Mhm.
trust, to build, whatever. And um, it sounds like, though, for the most part, what you're looking to do is just simply have the video available on all the social media platforms. And then it's really those other partners that you're connecting with that are distributing it out to their network. It does not sound to me like you really necessarily want to get in the business of building a network of thousands or tens of thousands of people. It sounds like even the way you're talking about it being anonymous, that you don't want to have, or you tell me what you're thinking in your mind. Like, are you looking to have all of these followers from all of these other networks come and follow you now? Are you going to put out other content on these other original content on the same channels, or does each project get its own channel so it stays anonymous and not connected with your other projects? Or give me the bigger picture of how all of this fits together.
Well, it's a debate in my brain as to, I know that building a following is important as an artist, as a creator, and yet I want this to be put out anonymously so that it doesn't have any, that it's a statement on its own. So that's not colored by, anything except for that the statement on its own. I don't know if that's possible. I mean,
Well,
it's
I don't think
possible,
I
but
think it's
I don't know. Yeah,
I think it's possible if you get separate accounts for it and it alone.
right.
As soon as it's related, you're not going to wipe your existing accounts of all of your content, are you?
No, no.
Okay, then you can't put it on your existing accounts because then it's not anonymous already.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Well, if it's on a separate account, that's released to YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, then I would assume that you can do it with it not linking back to me. But I don't know if that's possible. I mean,
yes,
I don't
you
know
can
if
you can
that's
have
wise.
say that last part again.
I don't know if that's wise. If you want to build a following, that's the decision I'm trying to
Yeah,
make.
yeah, no, you can't build a following if you want to be anonymous. I mean, and again, you could have the following within that. I'm glad to hear it's a debate for you, because I mentioned it before, but I'll just strongly encourage again not to make it anonymous. Let the message stands on its own wherever it comes from. That's the power of it. So it doesn't matter
Mhm.
if it came from you or if it came from a disinformation campaign from the Russians. The message stands on its own, and then it's okay. The message is okay no matter where it came from. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. No,
That's
I hear
that
you. Hear you.
that's the power of it. When you try to add this cloak of anonymity, then it
Hmm.
automatically almost creates like a, well, why doesn't the person who created this want to know? Who am I attaching myself to? And that's
Yeah,
ultimately what it comes down to, because when you create a separation between the author, the creator, and what it is, then people can be concerned that the person who created this is actually some person that marches in Nazi rallies. And now it turns out I didn't know that when I shared it, but now it's come out, on six. Do you get what I'm saying? Not that you are, but that people are going to be concerned about what they're attaching to,
right.
because they don't know if it's totally. I mean, it's not totally anonymous when you're the one knocking on the door and you say, I created this and I would like you to share it, right? But
Yeah,
essentially, when it's reaching everybody in their social media and in their inbox, and again, it's great because a lot of people are sharing stuff and a lot of people are not like scrutinizing things that much. You know, a lot of people are just sharing things without scrutinizing it. So certainly a lot of people will share it without scrutinizing it. But you want people to embrace it and put their name behind it. And anybody that's going to embrace it and put their name
Right.
behind it is going to need to know that their name stands secure when it stands next to yours.
Right.
And that's why when that is shown in the long lineage of what you've been here to support the earth over all of this time, and all the peace and love and consistent messaging that you've been having over all the years, then it can be embraced as coming from a really pure, awesome source. So my opinion is you will actually get much more legs and leverage out of it by having it be another brick in the beautiful wall that you're building over all of these years, and giving you the stepping stone to the next, musical that you
Right.
create, you
Right.
know, and lets you stand on the shoulders of giants as you move forward, and you take another leap forward, and you take another leap forward. And I understand what saying all of this brings up from my own experience is that it creates a role for you as a leader in the world that sometimes we're not always feel like we want to embrace so much necessarily, right? To be so public and so out there, and the creator of this that's getting played on 60 Minutes for the impact that it's made prior to the election. I mean, that's the dream of what you want, right? You would
Yeah.
want it to be making national news that, like, this is such a refreshing thing, and it's created this movement, and all of that. And that's where we can tell that story. We can get into you and I having a conversation on video that gets into your grand vision of where this goes and why it's so awesome and why we need it. And as you are sharing and you're inspiring others, it's those others that are becoming the supporters that are helping it get viral. You know what I'm saying? You're like organizing a whole army behind you with the whole story of it all, and giving them much more than they can get within those 2 minutes, but gives them the reason that, like, no, this, before it was just a video. Now I understand we're creating a movement where we're forming our consciousness in our society, and hell yeah, I'm going to share it because of that.
No, I hear you. I guess I'm kind of concerned about um, any kind of negativity feedback, such as the Klan or the Nazis or MAGA or any of them that want to rip it to shreds because they disagree. But so far, it's been beautiful. But
Well, you can only hope that it's going to get that much attention. You can only hope you can only hope that it's going to have that much impact in the world,
yeah.
that is doing so much good, that it's creating a backlash by the people that are opposed to good.
No.
You're not being successful if you're not.
Yeah. Well,
you if you want to make a real impact in the world, you are, in this current day and age, you are going to have a lot of people that are going to be trying to push you down and trying to smear you and trying to whatever. That's the way that our world is right now, unfortunately. So if
yeah.
that is, your like concern, is that you want to personally shield yourself from whatever may be coming, then you, in your own, I'm not saying that's not an important aspect. I completely, I again, I've been wrestling with that for a long time. Um, the You just have to kind of decide for yourself, as you are, what the priorities are and what's going to, like, win at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And I my belief in what you're sharing and what I'm hearing is that you have a long runway of having a lot of success around this before you would ever be encountering any kinds of like significant challenges, in terms of backlash in the world. And
Yeah.
in that process, you would be gaining a lot of allies and a lot of support that would support you if and when there was ever any backlash. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And again, if what you've if you look at it from two perspectives, if you look at it from the perspective that you're visualizing where it's being so big in the world, it's being so in your face of a concept that we have to love each other, that there's somehow some entities out there that are organizing, you know, uh, backlash that's making the news, so to speak, that they are backlashing against this love that's being spread in the world, then you can see that you've made the difference that you've wanted to. You've gone that
Mhm.
far, that you've gotten to that stage. The other side of it is where it's flying under the radar, under everybody's radar, that like it's not important enough to give backlash about. You get
Right.
what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah.
and that's exactly not what you are. Like you are knowing how quick people are to discourage and to criticize and to everything in this world, that there's just people that are wrapped up in this negative energy, and that's the way that they express themselves in the world, that is coming for your creation, that it's an inevitability if you want your creation to go anywhere. If it keeps
Right.
flying under the radar, then you won't have that. But as soon as it starts impacting people, you're going to get, that the negative part of the world showing up.
Right. No,
So
I
so
hear
in
you.
a
I
so
hear you.
so in a way, you just either have to embrace the success and embrace the backlash that's going to come with success, or you have to say, I'd like it to be successful, but not so much that it's going to potentially have a negative consequence. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So I'll leave it at that, because like you're right, and I encourage you to come to that conclusion as quickly as you can, because everything else is predicated on that. Everything
Right.
else about your strategy, everything else about what we talk about, yeah, I think actually this might be a natural ending point for us for today. We've covered a lot and left you in a space where you really are at a crossroads of determining, what this is going to hold in your world and in your life. Is it going to be a part of the continuation of your story that incorporates everything else and then goes forward from here? And I really would love to join you on that journey. Like that's where I want to take your existing website and put you in the Uniting for Action system and build out your whole thought
Mhm.
map, so you've got all of what you've been addressing over time, climate and earth and love and coming together and collectivism and now politics or culture, and have it all be the continuous story that again you get to keep building on as long as you keep creating. And I assume you want to keep creating. I assume you're anticipating a continuation of
Yeah.
of your efforts in the years to come, right? You want to build towards
Yes.
that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's, my strong encouragement to you, and this is the ride that I can take with you on. If you're, it's hard for me to see the way you're describing, the anonymous part of it. If you're to go this anonymous route, and behind the scenes you're not being anonymous, behind the scenes you're actually talking with these networks and asking them to put it out there, but you're asking them to put it out there anonymously, when really actually, and this is what I shared with you last time, I think you're going to get a higher level of participation and legs on it, where you take the opposite approach when you talk with those entities about putting their logo on, letting them put it out to their network with we support this message,
Right.
so that when their supporters forward it, then their logo is getting forwarded, and we could, and this is actually the direction I'd like to go with you, we could create like an AI version where whoever is supporting it and sending it on becomes like a link in the chain, like adds their logo to the logo of the passing along of the video, and
Mm.
actually create like a new video would get created each time. So it's a new technology I haven't seen before, where basically we'd be just adding another logo onto the end, and this would be like the whole chain of the whole like lineage that you've
But
received this.
it wouldn't change the actual video. It just adds to the end
Exactly.
corporate logos or whatever.
Exactly. And this, to me, this is where, again, you can pioneer taking this really wholesome, beautiful message that lots of people want to get behind. And, with the networks that you already talked about, work with them and you and I, can iron out all the details. But the way that I see it in my head is, okay, so you send it to, um, I keep forgetting them, Braver Angels. So Braver Angels is going to send it out to their network. Okay. And
Mhm.
they've got their logo on it. And when they send it out to their network, in their network is another organization that has a network that wants to send it out. Right. So then, as part of this system that we would set up, it would have the Braver Angels, a new video would actually get created because we're gonna add their logo onto the end, and so
Right,
basically the logo keeps getting appended every time, right?
right,
But that's what gets sent out, and then the people that are receiving it are again seeing the lineage of support that help them receive it. And what that does is it benefits everybody on the upline of logos, because now all of those logos are getting exposed to all of the downlines of their networks.
mhm.
Yep. You get what I'm saying?
Would it be attached as a if say Better Angels and HEB do this, you see both the logos and then it's added to,
Well,
or
this is
just the one that's HEB is going to send to their employees.
yeah. So this is where I believe there's some conversations for us to have if you want to go down this route, because this is where you get to decide, is there some sort of privilege that is being offered, to those that sign on early, where their logo is also going to show up in a parallel distribution, right?
Mhm.
So typically, again, let's look at it from a traditional standpoint. Traditionally, you would say, hey, I'm entertaining sponsors for this video. And if you want to sponsor at the $1,000 level, then you're going to get a big logo. And if you want to sponsor at the $500 level, then you're going to get a smaller logo. And if you want to sponsor the 250 level, then you're going to get the smallest logo. But we're going to put all of these logos for all these people that pay on all of the videos that we send out to our network, right? And that each of you will be sending out to your networks, right? So that's like traditionally what it looks like when you're offering sponsorships up front, right?
Right.
So now what we're talking about is an evolution of that, where when you're saying like, if we the world are going to send it out to their list, is it going to have the Braver Angels logo on it, even though Braver Angels are not part of their downline? And my answer to you is only if they've provided something in exchange for that value to them. This is where, again, going back to living by the golden rule, creating fair exchanges of value, it's valuable to them to be seen by another network that's parallel to them. So what are they offering in exchange for that privilege? And this is where, again, if I were you, and I would like to, have this conversation with you, is start to look at financial levels around this, where those that are distributing are contributing something financially to the greater good, to produce the next campaign, to fund the development of all of this. And then use it as a fundraiser for themselves as well. So they're kind of pitching in, but they're also have ability to fundraise. Or again, there's an infinite number of ways that we can go with this, but what I'm doing is I'm helping to layer these layers for you of ways
Right.
that you can leverage the work that you've already done by adding a financial layer, by adding a sponsorship layer, by adding, some new layers of ways that we create value exchange. To me, this is what you and I could, and I believe should, be talking about as part of our next conversation, to really
Right.
create a sustainable enterprise for you where you are leveraging the value of what you've created. I totally get, and I totally honor the altruistic nature of just wanting to send it out into the world on its own, anonymous. And I think it's beautiful. And I would love to see it work that way. And I would love to see you be able to create a positive feedback loop where the success of this one allows you to do the next one, and the success of the next one allows you
Right.
to take bigger and bigger scales up, and allows you to connect with bigger and bigger corporations and nonprofits. And this is where I see you operating on a global level. And if you want to operate on a global level, then we have to take a path more like what I'm describing than like the anonymous, because the anonymous doesn't build a global
Right.
enterprise for you.
Right. And it's just a matter of the decision of, you know, when it comes to to um, sponsorship levels and things like that. Um, I'm just concerned that it puts up a roadblock,
Yeah, I'm sorry, I put
uh,
some wet.
roadblocks.
Well,
Um,
I think that we can avoid that. I think that we can focus on, presenting it to the entities that you want to present it to, and ask them what kind of value it creates for them, and ask them if there's value, if we can create value for them such that they want to return value to you. And this is where, like, as an example, we can give them options. Like, let's say, like, here is how you fundraise with this video in a box. Okay. And we
mhm.
create a whole package for them that includes social media postings. And this is part of it, anyways, is that you essentially, I believe, you want to, just like the social media guy, that whether it's him or somebody that fills that role, what you're looking for
Right.
is you're looking for somebody that's going to help you package this video within a series of posts that's going to allow it to go viral, essentially, right?
Mhm.
And since you don't have an audience to really see that series of posts, essentially what you're doing is you're putting it all together in a package, and you're handing it to Braver Angels for Braver Angels to incorporate this into their social media posts. You see that?
Mhm.
Like, really, essentially, you want to start experimenting with some of these different organizations so that you can start to see which are working, which are not working, because you're going to be working on refining that model. And essentially, you want every network to be a test within your A/B testing of which is working better, right?
Right.
And so,
Right.
really, we want to set up like this whole infrastructure that you're setting up each of these partners with a whole game plan, with a whole technology, with a whole everything, series of postings, etc., to be able to allow them to make something of this, right, for themselves and for their network. And that's, to me, again, if the guy that you're thinking of or somebody else, is having that type of conversation with you, that's great. I'm obviously having that type of conversation. We can start to have like group conversations with everybody around you that would, be a part of this conversation. And this is why what we're recording this, so that you can now, pull out this part and say, send it to a friend and say, hey, I'm trying to figure this part out, and I think that you would be really helpful in this conversation. Do you have any feedback? Can we have a conversation about it? And then you can also just say, hey, I need to have a conversation with social media people and I don't know who to turn to. So who do you know that is a social media person, and send that out to your list asking for referrals to what you're looking for. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And the thing about the Uniting for Action system is that when you're doing that within the Uniting for Action system, not only are you sending it out to your network, but you're sending it out to the broader, collective network, because anybody can now find it and provide the support that you're looking for. And especially the people that are showing up looking for, how do we bring the right and the left together, or whatever, search they're going to do, they're going to find your video, and that's how we're going to have you be a part of a central solution that's part of the whole ecosystem of those people that are working on doing, right? Like, we're essentially creating the infrastructure for all of those people to show up and do their part, and you're doing your part, which is the musical part, the viral video part. This, you've got your part. Now we need all of those other parts to show up
Right,
and be able to take it and send it off into the world in all the ways that it's going to make an impact, right?
right.
And that's
No, I hear
that's
you.
what I'm here to support you with, if you choose, to go down this road. So that's, I think, the best way that I can kind of help you see the crossroads that you're at, the need to kind of figure that out, sooner rather than later, so that all your further conversations from here can be within the context of, those two choices: building something bigger and for the future, or just sending it off into the world on its own, the best that you can.
Yeah,
I think those are your two options. So what do
yeah,
you think
I
about all
agree.
of that?
It's kind of an overload, but I'm trying to take it all in.
I understand,
Uh,
because it's very confronting. It's very confronting that you're at this like life crossroads, because this does really create two different worlds for your future. With whatever choice you choose from here, it's a completely
right.
different future. And you've done an amazing job of creating this video. And maybe you don't, I don't know if you've thought about, how much of a difference this could make, or, in your life. And I don't know how much you embrace that, but if you embrace, what this could do in terms of allowing you to do more and more and more of what you've always wanted to do, it's like what I was hearing before was, last time the funding dried up, and then it made it really challenging for you to be able to continue the education and continue the productions and continue the performances and all the things that couldn't be continued because you didn't have the enterprise that was supporting it any longer. Well,
Yeah,
this, I believe that this, video has the potential to help you re-enterprise, to help you create a base of foundation again, where you can not only be able to, hire people to create music, to perform, to create educational videos, but potentially, start working with higher level influencers and start to create at a much higher scale, higher than you ever have before, to accomplish what you're here to accomplish on the planet at a scale that you've never been able to before. I would expect that would be really welcome to you, right? I mean, that's what you're here on the planet for, right? So
yeah,
so in my mind, it's like, let's start seeing what are the highest level influencers, the highest level, like what I was going to suggest before. Let's look at the top most visible and followed preachers in the country, and let's send letters to them about creating this. So, start with your local, but let's shoot for the highest level that we can, right? Because then you could get in front of tens of thousands, millions of people all at once. Same with any
right,
other. And that can be more effective than a lot of work trying to get 10,000 here and 20,000 there and 10,000 here and 20,000 there. You could get 20 million all at once, right? So
right.
I want to help you leverage your time most effectively and most efficiently to be able to create the results that you want in the world. And like I've shared with you, I can see a lot around everything that I've shared with you. So now it's up to you to just sit with it all and decide, which of these paths you want to go down, and then you'll let me know, and we'll go from there.
Okay. That
How does
sounds
that?
like a good deal.
I,
It sounds like a deal, Jared.
I
Uh,
appreciate that. Is there anything else that you know, want to ask of me, or you feel like I can support, or what are what are the
no,
best ways?
I think I got to wrestle with these questions. So, and I will over the next few days.
That's
Um,
great.
how are you going to celebrate the Fourth? Are you going out and looking at fireworks or whatever?
I I haven't decided yet. It's possible that I may go to local fireworks here. Um, I haven't decided yet. I'm also like very much in work mode at the moment, and I'm thinking about, just really making tomorrow a work day for me.
Hmm.
I'm not really sure yet. It's not, I had for many years, I've been over in South Florida, and my mom and I have celebrated and oftentimes celebrated with my brother. And we
Hmm.
talked about doing it this time, but it was in the middle of the week, and my mom didn't think that would be best for my brother, so we just decided to let it go. So I'm not sure at the moment. How about you? What are your plans?
Well, there's a picnic at the church I'm gonna stop in at, um, and just that's all I got. You
That
know,
sounds very nice. It
maybe I'll
sounds
look
very
at fireworks, but it's going to be 100 degrees. So, you know, you know, I don't know if I want to spend the time out in that heat that
that's
way. But,
That's
but
challenging. That's challenging. And
yeah,
that's just a really sad reminder of the impact that's been happening on our planet since we've been at
yeah,
this, you know,
yeah,
that it's that real for us that now we can't even enjoy the things we used to enjoy because it's too hot to, and it's only going to get worse as we know. It's kind of crazy.
yeah. So should we touch base next week? Let's just touch base and I'll see. I'll let you know where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm very interested in hearing, where you're at with all of this as you ponder it all. And then, yeah, as you decide, let's figure out what our next steps are.
Okay, Jared. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Have a good holiday.
Thank
Try
you.
to
You too,
try
Lanny.
to cut out a little bit of time for play.
I appreciate it. Thank you for that encouragement. That's really awesome. Thanks so much. All right. I will
All
talk to you
right.
soon, brother. Be well.
All right. You too
Have a
now.
great fourth.
Bye bye.
Bye.